Alright everyone, what is happening? Welcome back to the channel. Have I got something for you? Those of you that follow us on Instagram and Facebook, you've probably already seen a glimpse of what I'm talking about. But for the rest of you, stay tuned because I have something for you. I'm super excited about this. This has been in the works for a little bit. I'll explain a little bit more once I show you. But we're gonna head out. It is rainy today, and it's a different rain. It's like a soaking type mist rain. I think it's kind of cool, but it's one of those things that you get soaking wet no matter what you do. So anyway, let me just get through here. You guys ready for this? Okay. Let me get in a position where I can show you. All right, this behind me. Many of you are like, a trailer? What the heck? It's not just any trailer. This bad boy here, we just picked up. Made a pretty nice investment. As you can tell, it is pretty dirty. I'm not gonna worry about that today. It's raining. I'm gonna get a pressure washer and everything. But let me set this up and show you real quick. In order for me to do that, I gotta open this. Oh, it smells so good. Voila! Now you probably can't see all that well. Oh, you can see a little bit. Sweet. We picked up this 90% finished sauna. It is a mobile sauna. This thing is awesome. It's a little bit smaller than we were hoping and wanting. It's got some things that need to be fixed. One of the things that I'm going to make sure I get fixed, they removed the latching rod here on this door, and there is a latch right here that has to be latched, and then you have to throw a piece of duct tape over it to be able to drive down the road. Otherwise, if you don't throw a piece of duct tape, it wiggles that thing open and the doors come open on the road. So I looked it up. The latching mechanism's only about $100. I should be able to pick that up, no big deal. Reinstall it, and we should be good. They removed it because they were worried about someone coming along and locking people out. So, I'll address that. I'm pretty sure if you just put a lock through the thing, it won't be able to latch anyway. I'm not worried about that. I think we're also going to take and build a cedar wall with a door here, and then these will just be outer doors, so when we're using it we can open it up, pin the doors back, and still have a door. It's going to be insulated and everything, so you won't be losing heat out. So this is the way they had built it. It works great. The sauna itself is currently usable now. There's just some unfinished stuff, and I'll go ahead and show you. So of course the doors, like I told you, will come in here. So it's all done in cedar. It smells amazing. So we got things like, it needs some trim up here. Here on the vent, needs some finishing pieces and some trim here. It's all been insulated and that it's all great. The craftsmanship actually is really good. It's got an older wood burning stove, and so I'll get you close. It works. It's usable. As you can see, it's pretty old, and I don't know that we necessarily need to upgrade it. Maybe later on down the road we will. It functions now, and that's what's important. I will probably get this thing fired up and going today, but it is really dirty in here. So I have got to sweep and vacuum it out, and it needs some real good cleaning. Hopefully I can get some of the dirt stains and that out of this cedar. It still smells amazing, and they said when it's fired up, it smells even better. So it does have a basket with some rocks on it. However, I do think I'm going to either find a bigger basket or maybe weld a basket on the top of it and get some more river rocks for it. It came with a bunch of wood stocked already, so we got enough wood to get things cleaned, or to get things going. But yeah, it's got a little plug-in lighting system here. You can plug into a battery pack. I hope to upgrade that. Same thing over here. As you can see, it just needs some molding put up, but they've got it. There's a nice backing to it, heat shield, and I may still take some of that corrugated roofing and add that to here, just to give it a little more of a shielding, and it makes it look even better. Right now it's just super dirty, but the overall this thing is pretty awesome. So this here is the upper seat. I'm sitting on the lower seat, which moves in and out. Right now I can't put it back in because we have the spare tires. There's 2 spare tires, so I gotta pull those out and figure out what to do with those. I'm not exactly sure. They just keep them in here when they go somewhere. That works. Problem is they're dirty and they're gonna leave some dirt and marks and stuff on the wood. And the plan is to rent this out. Now, my original plan was to get this up and going and be able to start renting it next weekend. That would be awesome, but depending on some of the things that need to be done with it, the driver's side light is not working, so I've got to figure that out. Possibly just a loose bad ground. That's going to be interesting, because in case I have to get into, I'm hoping not, I might have to tear into the wall and try and figure that out. I'm hoping I don't have to do that, but we'll see. I'm hoping to be able to get that fixed, and there's just some simple stuff. I don't know if we're gonna get the door built. That might be something that happens later on. I am for sure one of the first things I'm getting before we start renting it out commercially is we're gonna get that door latch fixed, because I can't deal with and have the extra stress of the back door flying open and possibly losing stuff out of the back of this. But that is where we are at with this thing. Like I said, it's 90% done. Just some small stuff. It is usable. They have been using this, and this was a bit of an investment. And there's also with the investment, we've got a bit of risk with it. And that's a little nerve-wracking, but we went ahead and pulled the trigger on it, and we're super excited. We've been looking at doing something like this for since the beginning of the year, actually. It's been kind of our goal to put that money aside, and then I broke my wrist and had to use a lot of that money that we had set aside for things to be able to pay for while I was not working. That's been a big bummer, but we've been working really hard making the handmade stuff and my paintings and the paracords. We thank everyone that's bought the paintings and paracords. That has definitely helped to offset some of the costs. We are very thankful for those that pitched in and have helped in other ways. And we're finally to a point where we're doing much better, and I should be going back to work here at the end of August. So I think we're coming out of this, and getting this was it was, like I said, a big risk. We've been struggling financially anyway, and we went ahead and were able to get financing for this and went ahead and did it. And that's it's kind of scary because we had to do it that way. But it was one of those opportunities that it appeared, fell in our lap. Everything's gone really smooth to get it, and it's going to turn around and make us money. Alright, what's happening? It's another day, and we are working on the trailer. Man, it is really dirty. Look at that. I'm gonna have to get a pressure washer and clean the outside of this thing. Still working on this thing. I was hoping to have this probably up and going this coming weekend. May or may not happen. Jackie's like, come on, let's be a little more realistic. Let's say 2 weeks, but I'm trying to get as much done as I can in this week, and we'll see what happens. So with that being said, I'll show you what I have left to do. Let me turn you around here. All right, so everything inside except for the floor. As you can see, the floor is pretty dirty compared to the wall. So I'm gonna have to scrub on my hands and knees. I did a little test up here. You can see right here, I scrubbed to see if this grime would come out. I think it will. I may still have to take and throw a band sander or whatever on the floor. And there's a couple spots on the wall here. See, these will probably have to take some light sanding too. But everything else is pretty much cleaned. The benches come out. There's still a couple spots where I'll probably have to lightly sand, but they're a lot cleaner than they were. I messed around with the lighting, so we have got I don't know if you can see, there's this really thin wire lighting. That stuff's really cool. It wasn't working. I messed around with this, messed around with it, put some batteries in. I did have it working, and then it just stopped working again. They'd thrown in this other lighting strip, and this was actually going up around here, went about to here. So what I did is I took it off and I put it around the entrance here, and that's gonna stay there. I went and bought these. I thought these connect together. Ends up they don't, but that's okay. This is gonna work. We're gonna buy a battery pack, rechargeable battery pack that'll hook into USB, and we're probably gonna run lights on that for now. And then I'm going to go through and remove all of these little teeny tiny lights, and the light strips is going to go right there. It's unfortunate because those teeny tiny lights are hard. They're really low profile compared to the strip lighting, but that's just what we're going to have to go with for now. I'll have to figure something out in the future, but I've got to go through, and it's all along the molding. The other thing is, so you can see it up here too, I've got to get molding for here and here. That's going to be pretty simple to do. We'll just moisten the wood and basically flex it into shape and then attach it. So that's going to be done. I still, like I said, I got to clean the floors, and I swept up all this catch here and put there, and I got to figure out what something that's got burned there or melted there, so I'm going to scoop that up. Right now I've started cleaning up the rust on this, and I have a test piece out here. I'll show you that in a minute once I explain what I'm doing here. So they have this pot of water that goes on here for humidity. They've got this basket of rocks. I am going to try to change this a little bit. I don't know if this is going to stay underneath. We've got this, and so everything that comes apart on the stove is going to come apart and be repainted. I'm doing that test piece out there to make sure it's going to work. This is like an antique stove. It's really cool. I thought about taking it out and just putting in an actual sauna stove in here, but I actually really like the way this looks, so I don't want to mess with it. I'm going to just wire brush it to try to get as much of the rust off as possible, and then I'm going to hit it up with some primer, some high heat primer and high heat stove paint, and we're basically going to redo the whole thing so it's fresh and black and looks great. I tried to take this out. The way they have the stack is it's really tight, and I'm limited as it is with the one hand. So and the screws on the stack, at least 2 of them are stripped. So I'm going to basically just plastic and tape off everything and paint it all in here. I'll keep the doors open and everything. Once it's dry and cured, I'm going to chock that thing full of wood and just light it on fire and let it burn for a few hours all the way down to ash, so that we can get this all cooked. And it stinks really bad once you paint it, so you've got to get it basically super hot, and then it cures the paint. It's a special ceramic coating paint, so once it gets to a certain temperature, it cures, and it lasts for quite a while. It does have to be touched up every so often, but we're gonna see how it works. And like I said, I really like the cool antique look of this stove in here, so I don't really want to take that out. If we decide to do a build in the future, which is going to be bigger if we do it, I have a very specific stove in mind for that has a smaller footprint and everything, but that trailer will be a whole different beast. Once I get the molding and everything done, I've got a few things on the outside that I've got to do. The driver's side lighting, like I mentioned earlier, for some reasons not working. I have an idea of why. It's going to be one of 2, maybe 3 things, and let me show you. So it definitely needs a deep cleaning. The lip here, all this is the paint and everything is chipping off, so that's got to be sanded down and repainted. I'm probably going to throw some bed liner on it. I think I'm going to take all of the silver on the trailer, all the silver stuff. I'm going to tape things off, and then I'm going to put black bed liner on all of that just to keep it in good condition. but the light, so there's supposed to be a corner signal here. There's this green wire coming out. So I'm wondering if this wire not being connected to a light is leaving the circuit open, so it's not able to complete the circuit, and so we're not getting the light. So I do have a spare light that I'm going to hook up to this, and we're going to try and see if that is the problem. That's the first thing. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to come up here and we'll have to mess with the wiring up in here and see if there's a loose ground. I'm hoping the wiring goes under and follows the frame, and if that's the case, it'll be a lot easier to find where the ground is. If it goes in through the trailer, which is a possibility, that could get complicated, and I'm hoping that that's not the case, because I really don't want to have to tear any walls apart or anything. Yeah, so then same thing with up here. Everything's kind of rusted and everything, so that's got to all be cleaned up and probably respray painted. Chains are super they are super rusted, and so I've got to figure out if I need to change the chains out or if there is something I can do with those. Probably soak them in some sort of solution, and I don't know. I've got to figure that out. The diamond plate here is bent. I've got to take a rubber mallet and massage that back and fix that. And then, like I said, all the silver, except for on the roof, I'm not going to do. All the rest of the silver, though, is going to get like bed lined, just to help protect against dings, rust, and everything like that. Plus, I think it'll look good. The trailer's supposed to be black. It looks gray because it's super dirty. So I'm gonna definitely have to fix that. I haven't gotten up on the roof, and I have not gotten underneath it just to check things yet. So it does not appear like that there's any leaks. We've had some pretty good rain, and I haven't seen any water on the inside. So that's good. But that's where we're at. I've used this a couple times just to make sure that it was functioning well. It gets super hot in there. Have not gotten a thermostat or anything in there yet, but that is on the list. We have a running list of things that we need to get. I've gotten a couple of them and whatnot, so still working on getting it cleaned, but I've also gotten to the point where I probably should hold off. I'm not going to clean the floor yet until I have gotten all of the painting, of the stove and the molding and everything done and the lights hung. It'll be one of the last things I do, and I'll probably scrub it real good and see if it comes clean. If not, then of course I'm going to take the sander down to the floor, just with probably, I don't know, 220 or I don't know, maybe 600, something a little bit higher, so that it's not super, it doesn't scuff things up. I just want to be able to get just the stains off of the wood. So I'll do some research on that. It's going to be a higher numbered grit, of course. So, and then we just got doing my test painting here on this little piece of the stove. It seems to be doing pretty good. So it looks like it's dry, and I'll get another coat on there. It's already got 2 coats, and before that it has about 2 coats of primer. And that was real fun. I just took a wire wheel and just wire wheeled it off, got all the rust off. I took a 220 grit sandpaper, sanded that down, and then blew it off and wiped it off with some solvent and let it dry, and then painted it. So that's where we're at, and yeah, we'll keep you updated. And like that, it's another day. We are baking this. It's already getting hot in here. We got the vent open, the door wide open. This thing's getting pretty hot. You listen, you can hear it. You can hear it drafting up. It's a beautiful thing. It's already starting to stink, so that's a good sign. Bake this on there real good. I used the high temp stove paint that has a ceramic coat in it, so that should last for a while. And yeah, so today we're not doing much. My main goal with this today is get that baked. I might do the trim here. I still haven't decided yet if I'm going to get that far, but I at least need to get this baked and then sweep this out again for like the third time. But yeah, we'll work on that, and that's what we're doing today. We still have a list. I need to sit down and make a list of stuff that we need. The garbage can is behind me. You can't really see it. Anyway, the garbage can that was right over here, I verified with the previous owner, and they were using it for cold water. Honestly, it's a little bit much, and it takes up a lot of room. So I'm removing the garbage can, and I'm buying one of those 1 gallon cedar buckets, and we'll put a hanger probably on the wall over there and hang the bucket there with the ladle and go from there. I can always include a thing of water, like a 5 gallon thing of water. It's not that big of a deal, and that can either stay in with the wood, or it can just go underneath the trailer when it's parked. No big deal. I'm trying to take and make this look nicer, and the garbage can wasn't bad, but I'm afraid people would confuse it as a garbage can and actually put garbage in it when there's water, and so I wanted to distract from that, and I'm trying to make things look nicer. So I will be ordering the little cedar bucket and some other things. I'm looking at doing a diffusing cauldron it'll swing over the wood burning stove, and you can put oils and stuff in it. We're looking at like doing a towel rack and putting some towels to come in and have like a towel rack here or something like that. I don't know. I still am seriously considering building a wall here with a door and getting away from the door that the actual trailer doors. But I've still got to get the latching mechanism for this trailer, because I don't want to be driving down the road or have someone else driving down the road and the doors come flinging wide open and everything. So, but that's where we're at. And then, I got to do the trim and everything before I put the lights in. The lights are going to be like the very last thing that goes in. And I'm also going to have to come in here with an orbital sander, and sand out some of these marks. Probably have to hit the floor One, there's been a couple weaknesses I found with this already. So some things that I've noticed that if I build one, I'm going to do differently. The floor, there's no way to get under the floor and, like, let's say vacuum it up if dirt gets in here or whatnot. And there are spaces between each of the cedar boards. So I'm looking at possibly cutting a section out of the floor and putting some braces between it and creating like a box, a frame that it'll sit on. That way I can take and remove the floor. There's also drains underneath the floor, but there's no way to get to them to do any repairs or unplug. You know, like I said, if crap gets underneath the floor, there's no way to get to that without ripping the floor up. So I don't know if that's something I'm going to do now. I think in the future, though, one of the things to do is going to be to cut a section of the floor, brace it up, frame it out, and so that it'll come up, and then we can maintain underneath the floor. My main thing is to get some of the big things done on this and addressed and be able to rent it out. So the stove was one of the biggest things I wanted to hit and work on, and that so far has been a success. The next thing is to get the molding taken care of so that it has a cleaner finished look, and then we'll go from there. So we're getting there, almost there. Some cool stuff that we're gonna do with this, and it's gonna be awesome. So hope you guys enjoy, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video.